Hello and welcome to Old Ways Gardening and Prepping. My name is Teresa. I'd like to welcome you out this evening to the shed of many names, where tonight I'm going to be making semi-homemade chicken broccoli potato soup. It is a wonderful soup. It's hearty and it's chilly a little bit outside, so we want some soup, and we'll be eating on this for a couple of days. So yes, fair warning people, it's a big batch of soup, but you can always cut it down to meet your needs and or your family's needs. It's not hard to do, and I'll show you as we go along. Now here are the ingredients. I have a pack of boneless, skinless chicken breast. There's 5 in here, and I'll probably be using the 3 biggest ones. A big old pile of taters, yes. Now, I may use all of them, I may not. It depends on how it cuts up. I have minced garlic, yes, I'm cheating. 3 small onions. I have, and this is where it's semi-homemade, I have 2 cans of Campbell's cheddar cheese soup and 1 can of broccoli and cheese soup. And I have a 2-pound bag of broccoli cuts. Now, of course, I'll let you know what spices and herbs I use as we go along. And as usual, the recipe will always be in the description box below. Well, with it getting late, it's time to get to cooking. It's time to get to chopping, dicing, cutting, and slicing. So I'm going to get set up. And as always, want to say, make sure that your workspace is sanitary and clean. Your cutting board, your knives, your spoon, everything. Now, yes, the potatoes have been washed, so for those who always think I don't wash things, I do. Now, I did not wash my onions, but I'll be peeling those. So, let's get busy. Okay, first thing I'm going to start out with is the onions. I'm going to get those diced up. I always have a container or a bag for scraps to go into. Especially if you got a Ziploc bag, put your scraps into it, freeze them, and keep adding to it. So when you get to make a batch of bone broth or vegetable stock or any kind of stock, you can add these leftover ends and peels, and it makes a wonderful stock. Me personally, I'm not going to be able to make any stock anytime soon, so it's going to go in the compost pile. I'm cutting my onions up first before the cutting board gets nasty from the chicken. And I'm going to be adding the onions, chicken, and garlic into I have a big soup pot on the stove, and it has olive oil in it, and that'll get going here in a little bit, because I don't want the olive oil to get too hot, and by the time I get this diced up, yeah, that olive oil will be way too hot. Ooh, these onions have been in storage for a while. They're rough, but will make the soup even better. And onions are so healthy for you. And since we've had people who have injuries and or just had surgery, yep, I'm fixing to get them on the road to getting better. And if nobody's told you before, food is medicine if you know how to cook it correctly. Whew. Lordy, these onions are rough, but I love them. And especially in a potato soup, you can't go wrong with onions. And of course, a single batch, you would do 1 onion, 1 good sized chicken breast cubed, however many potatoes you want, and however much broccoli you want. Because as long as you pay attention to your ingredients, it's going to turn out good. I'm going to pause it here, go rinse my chicken off, and I'll be right back. I got my chicken rinsed off very well, trimmed up some of the fat, and got it dry. Of course, if it's a small family or single person, 1 chicken breast would be plenty for the soup. And you want bite-sized pieces. Sorry, everyone. I ain't no telling what Jane is after. It ain't no who. Probably still thinks that squirrels are out. Now, if you didn't want meat in your soup, you could always leave the chicken out. You could use pork, use turkey. It's a simple, easy soup to make, and it turns out wonderful every time. And of course, I'll be fixing some garlic bread to go with it. The garlic bread makes everything better. If you want your pieces of chicken to be smaller, of course, make them smaller. If you want it a little more chunky, go for it. Like I said, this is your soup. Always remember, leave one hand clean. That way you can touch doorknobs and turn on your faucet to wash your hands. Okay, I got the chicken cleaned up. Now, I'm going to go inside, wash my hands. I'm going to get the soup pot ready to go so we can saute the onions, garlic, and chicken together. I'll bring you right back. I can hear that my oil's nice and hot. Instantly I smell the onions. Put the cutting board back up. Cut my heat up just a little bit. Because I like to build layers of flavor. I'm going to let these get good and almost completely cooked all the way through, because I'm going to leave them in the pan when I put the potatoes and the broccoli in here in a bit. And of course I'm going to cut the potatoes up. Alright, let me start adding some spices. Of course, right off the bat, about 3 tablespoons of minced garlic. Because we like garlic, and this is going to be a big old pot of soup. Let's see. One. Oh. Almost 2 tablespoons of parsley. I'm out of parsley now. That could be dangerous. One good tablespoon of dried oregano. Oh, that smells so good. And of course I like to be a little different, so I'm going to do, well, that's going to go too slow. About a tablespoon of good paprika. Oh, you can smell that now. I'm going to tell you right now, That's smelling good. Alright, I'm going to cook it for a couple more minutes. I'm going to go wash my cutting board, bring you back, and we're going to get started on the potatoes. See you here in a little bit. Okay, we're back to the potatoes. Now, they've been washed, and I don't peel my potatoes. I do not peel them. Now, I will cut any bad looking spots off of them, but all your vitamins and nutrients of the potato is in the peel. Now, like I said, this is your soup that you're making. If you don't like the peels, by all means, take them off. And you're going to slightly cube your potatoes up. Make them the bite size that you want. You can make them chunkier. You can make them smaller. I try to go for a mixture, because that way, as they're cooking, some will break down and thicken the soup up more. And then you have the bites of the other sizes. I like to know when I'm having potato soup that it's potato soup. I want some chunks of potato in there. And you can guesstimate of how much potato you need to put in for your family or your own needs. Same goes for the broccoli. You can use fresh broccoli if you want to. That's perfectly fine. But they didn't have any really nice looking fresh broccoli, so I got frozen. I'm going to tell you, I've made the soup with frozen and or fresh, and a mixture of both. Guess what? Turned out perfectly fine. Okay, I'm going to cut up one more potato, pause the video for a while, and finish cutting up more potatoes, because I know for a fact that they're going to want a whole lot more potato. And as you see, I have all different kinds of sizes. That's perfectly fine. It ain't going to hurt a single thing. Alright, I'll bring you back. I'm probably going to have to put the potatoes, once I get this cutting board filled, and put them in the pot. And I'll just keep count of how many potatoes I use. I'll bring you back here in a little bit. Okay, I have about 10 cups of hot water I've added to the chicken and onion mixture. And I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of very condensed chicken stock base. And that's why I have not added any salt to this at all. And that's what it looks like. And let me tell you, it's delicious. I'm going to add a good sprinkling of black pepper to taste. Of course, this is optional. It's just me, and being Southern, I like to put unsalted butter. I'm using unsalted because I'm using the condensed chicken bouillon. Well, not bouillon, condensed chicken stock. So, because of the amount of soup I'm making, I'm going to use 2 sticks of unsalted butter. Not margarine, butter. Butter makes everything better. Give that a good stir. And everything's going to meld together. I'm going to go in and get my bag of frozen broccoli. Get that in there. Because the broccoli and potatoes will cook at the same time. Well, that's some interesting broccoli. That's some big pieces. It didn't feel that big in the bag. I'm glad I'm using broccoli and cheddar soup. But not everybody's going to get a piece of broccoli in the soup. But you know what? That's okay. They're going to get the essence, the nutrients of the broccoli. Now, of course, I'm going to have to add some more water to it here in a bit. Let me get my taters. And I ended up cutting up 10 medium-sized potatoes. No, always one escapee. And yes, I already know I'm going to need more water. Not a whole lot. Because you want some juice in it, but you don't want it to be real runny. Let's see. Oh, get the onion back in there. I'm using very warm water. And I like to use just enough to cover the potatoes up. And yes, I'm cooking for family, so I'm fine. Oh, that tastes good. Take one more taste. I'm going to add 1 more tablespoon of the condensed chicken stock. Of course, the paprika's giving it a nice reddish color. The turmeric and the chicken stock is going to color it as well. Now you're going to want to keep stirring it. Every once in a while, check on it. Make sure nothing's sticking on the bottom. And I'm going to cook it until the potatoes are done. And I'll bring y'all back. See you at the wall. Okay, the potatoes are finally done cooking. I'm going to cut the flame off. Now, if you don't want to use the cheese soup in it, there's an old trick where if you just want to make it just potato and broccoli and chicken soup, an easy way to thicken it up, instant mashed potatoes. Works wonderful. Alright, I'm going to get my bowl. I have a little bit, a little too much, but let's get rid of a little bit of that. I have a little bit of water. I want to dip in here. Get a little bit of this stock. I'm going to take this back over here. And I'm going to bring y'all over here. Hold on just a minute. What I'm going to do is, now that this is really hot, I'm going to open the soups in it. This is the broccoli cheddar. Make sure you get all of it off of there. Uh-oh. Quality assurance here. Got a quality check. Now, if you wanted to, you could bypass using the stock and use milk, but it's already going to be rich enough for us. And make sure you get everything out of those cans. Waste not, want not. So, yep, you just put the cheese in there. The cheese soup. Now, if you wanted to, you could also use shredded cheese. It's just going to take a while to get it melted and where it's not a giant blob. And yes, I cheat every once in a while. And for the love of God, don't use Velveeta. That's not even cheese. Okay, and what I'm going to do is whisk it real good. Make sure there's no lumps. You want to make sure you get it all good and dissolved. And the reason for taking the stock out of the pot is you're not adding, well, it had just a little bit of water, not much. But you're not adding more liquid in there than you need. Alright, I'm going to take you back over. We're walking all over the place tonight. And I leave the flame off because anybody that's ever made potato soup knows that it's liquid lava and it stays hot for a very long time. I'm going to stir that up. And what I like about it, it's not a real runny soup. Now believe me, come tomorrow, this is going to be extremely thick. Because the starch from the potatoes is going to kick in. And as it cools, it'll get thicker as well. Now if you want it thicker, that's perfectly fine. Instant cream potatoes is your friend. Alright. I'm going to go get me a bowl. Because, you know, I am the cook. I need to do quality check. And I will bring y'all right back. Okay, I have served me up a bowl. And believe me, you want to let it cool for a while. Because potato soup is liquid lava. Now, of course, me being me, I didn't put any in the soup because several of the family members don't like hot things. Well, gotta have me some slap your mama, because I love it. I've been looking forward to this all night. Oh my gracious, that's good. Comfort food is what this is. And of course you want to make, I cheated, took a bite of my garlic bread. You just want to dip your garlic bread down in there. And of course as it cools the soup will thicken up. Oh my gracious. A semi-homemade meal fit for a king. Absolutely wonderful. I hope you've enjoyed this video and that it encourages you as well to make your own homemade cheesy chicken broccoli potato soup. Like I said, all ingredients are optional, and it's not going to be potato soup if you don't use the potatoes. But through the video, I told you how you could change it, make it your own. You don't have to add meat, you don't have to add cheese. Make it the way you want. And I'm notorious for making soups that I don't measure ingredients. Eyeball everything. Keep an eye on it. If it's just you, if it's a single person, half a chicken breast, one chicken breast, couple potatoes, a little bit of broccoli or a fresh head of broccoli. You can throw mushrooms in it. The only reason I didn't have mushrooms in it, nobody had any clearance mushrooms today. Simple, easy, absolutely delicious, and homemade. I hope you've enjoyed this video and that you will also make this soup as well and enjoy it as much as we do. Everyone, take care. Also remember, the recipe will be in the description box below the video. You each stay safe and sound out there. Keep your head on a swivel. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. May you each be blessed. Everyone take care.